Hello everybody, this is my 41st review of films to come out in 2025, and today we are talking about It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley, directed by Amy J. Berg. This is the first film I've seen from Amy J. Berg, but I've heard really great things about her as a documentary filmmaker, and I was excited to see this because I'm a big fan of Jeff Buckley as well. So what did I think about it? Would I recommend It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley? Yeah, I think I definitely would. If you're a fan of his music, I would without a doubt recommend this movie. But even if you're not a fan and don't know much about him and are just sort of interested or want to get into him as an artist, I think this is a great start. It's part of what I love about this movie, the fact that I really do feel like even if you weren't a fan of him already, you could still really enjoy it. It doesn't rely on you being a super fan of Jeff Buckley to enjoy the film, it's just a solid documentary. I guess if you hated his music, I wouldn't recommend this to you, but like, who hates Jeff Buckley? Overall, out of all the documentaries that have come out recently about musicians, this is one of the best, and a lot have come out in the past 5 or so years. You got The Velvet Underground by Todd Haynes, you got The Sparks Brothers by Edgar Wright, there was that Led Zeppelin movie I talked about recently. It's not a trend I mind at all, I love a lot of these artists and I like learning about them. But again, this is one of the best of them in my opinion. This had great editing, I love the way it edited the clips to the music and kept that energy. The interview footage was great, the archival footage was great, I just liked learning more about Jeff Buckley as a person. There's some cool animation and experimental filmmaking that I thought for the most part worked really well with the project. And unlike the Led Zeppelin movie that came out recently, I was very happy that this went through his whole career. I mean, it wasn't a long career, but this movie goes through his entire life, like birth to death. But most importantly, the best part about this movie is that it has powerful emotional impacts when it wants to. When this movie is attempting to pull at your heartstrings, I thought it was really successful pretty much every time. And oh my god, the ending was just the perfect note to end on and genuinely touching. There are 3 main interviewees in this movie, which were his mom and 2 of his partners, and I really liked hearing their perspective on him and just enjoyed the way they talked about him, and I liked that they all kind of had different perspectives on him and different experiences with him, obviously. It was really nice to have all 3 of them, because they all had distinct perspectives. I felt like they always chose the perfect songs to play, depending on what subject matter the movie is going over. Mommy, You've Been On My Mind is probably my favorite Jeff Buckley song. It is a Bob Dylan cover, and the way they use it in this movie is perfect. I mean, obviously, they're gonna play it over a section that has to do with his mom, but a good chunk of this movie is about the relationship between him and his mom, and yeah, it gave me a new perspective on the song. How could it not? I just know more about their relationship now. The way they edited the footage over the title track of Grace, I thought was amazing. There's a section in the film where one of his partners is talking about a breakup they had, and the music they chose for that and the editing, again, is just really on point. Jeff Buckley himself was just a very interesting, funny, and likable character to follow throughout the film. And obviously there's a lot of stories about him that the movie goes into, and some of them were effectively funny, some of them were effectively emotional, and some of them were just interesting. I won't spoil any of these. My favorite has to do with him at a Led Zeppelin concert, and I also really liked going into his first live performance and how he kind of broke down. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, it was great. I guess I should justify the non-5 out of 5 rating I'm about to give this film with some criticism. My main critique of the movie definitely has to do with the animation and the experimental shots that I was talking about that they used to kind of illustrate things that the archival footage and the interviewees couldn't really convey. And sometimes I feel like it didn't completely fit. Sometimes I felt like it was kind of insisting something that I didn't really want to be insisted. Like, this was a real guy with real experiences and emotions, and I feel like they're kind of guessing what he was going through at certain points and illustrating that on screen, and I kind of was like, do we need to do this? It kind of comes off a little cheesy. It was never too bad, but just sometimes I found it a little self-indulgent. Like, I love that the movie has a style. A lot of documentaries can kind of come off bland because they don't do stylish things like this. But I don't know, I just felt like it needed to be toned down just a little. I also kind of wish we learned a little bit more about the lives of the interviewees in the present. Like, I was kind of curious, like, you know, where are they at in their lives now after these events that happened more than 30 years ago? And I feel like if we learned more about them, then the emotional impacts would have hit even harder. Anyways, I'm gonna give this 3.5 stars out of 5. On Monday, I will make a review for Dora and the Search for Sol Dorado, directed by Alberto Belli, so subscribe to see that. In the description, I will put a link to my Letterboxd list ranking all of the movies I've seen of 2025 so far. Here is the ranking so far. That's where the Jeff Buckley film is, and there are the rest of the films that I've seen and reviewed this year. There should also be a link in the description to the YouTube playlist of all of my 2025 film reviews. You can also find that on my channel page and right here on the left of your screen. Thank you for watching. Comments and likes are very much appreciated. They help give me a boost in the algorithm, so thank you for that. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about this movie. See ya.